Hello, everyone. Welcome to another M8 meetup, where we talk about all things M8. This week, we decided to show different ways of doing live performance, or at least our personal preference live performance setups. Myself and Mikey's we'll go through. There's obviously many other ways to do it, and I'm sure somebody will probably add their own 2 cents at some point. But yeah. But before we get started, I should talk about a couple things. The last pre-orders batch should be shipping starting this coming week. Hopefully it'll go out very quickly once we start shipping. It'll probably be every other day. Sets of units will go out. Yeah. Hey, Mikey, are you there?
Hello.
Okay, good.
How's everyone doing? So
We're doing
this is gonna
okay.
be kind of cool. Yeah, this could be kind of cool because
Oh yeah.
our setups are completely different.
I'm gonna talk over you. So with us today is Mikey 303 and Sky. Everybody,
Hello.
say hello.
Hello.
But yeah, this will probably be a pretty short meetup because me showing my life setup is ultimately pretty simple. And it's kind of rinse and repeat on my setup. And Mikey's, I know, is more crazier than mine. So, but go ahead. You were saying. Sorry, I was interrupting you.
Yeah. It'll be fun because I know that our setups are we have completely different configurations, which will be fun for people to see that there's no one way to use the M8 in a live setting. In fact, I imagine that you could just use the M8 by itself and that'd be perfectly fine. But what's great about it is that it has a lot of flexibility in terms of ways you can implement it into your setup. I just saw recently John D over at Bastel, they put up a new video of them playing using the M8 in their setup, and it was really cool. So you should check that out.
Cool. I'm also a little unprepared. I've been working on some new features for M8, kind of nonstop, including doing repair units and all that. Minor customer support. Mikey's mostly been handling that. But I'm not going to say anything about the new version, but it'll probably be coming in the coming weeks, at least for beta. I don't know if I should disclose anything other than that at the moment.
Make it a surprise.
I don't know.
It'll be a surprise. We'll do another meetup for that surprise. Probably in the coming weeks. Maybe once all the pre-orders get shipped out. I'm waiting to launch another pre-order. I'm waiting for verification still on some parts before I can open that up because I don't want to open up pre-orders and then it get pushed back a couple months. So, yeah. Hopefully that'll also be announced in the coming weeks.
Please look forward to it.
All right, so I guess we'll get started. So this is my M8. How I do my live performances is I just use a single M8. Currently, I should say, by the way, because everything's always changing. I use a single M8, and then I use a launch pad for doing song row queuing, and then I use a MIDI controller for doing some basic MIDI mappings, and they change from song to song, essentially. I'm going to turn on the camera here so you can see everything in theory. Let's see, there we go. Hello. So yeah, this is my setup. It's got the launch pad, a little tiny MIDI controller that I replaced the knobs on because the knobs on this thing were terrible. I don't remember the name of this. I mean, the knobs are amazing. They're like milled aluminum, but they had no indication. Like no, they just had a tiny indent. So for live performance in the dark, it doesn't really work. So I used some chroma key. What are they called? Chroma caps, I think. And then I used this knot, which is a USB MIDI all in one thing. You could use an RK006 or whatever, but so basically this MIDI controller is hooked up to the knot via USB, and then M8 sends MIDI to the launch pad. MIDI goes out the launch pad into the knot, and then the knot's MIDI output goes back into the M8. So it's kind of a roundabout thing, but in this setup, it totally works fine. You could see the tracks on the display. I move around. So I tend to use, you can see the mute button down here is blinking. I use the kind of, these are just, it enables it to do quick mutes, only while it's held down. So it's not a latch mute. If I click this again, I could do it like this style, but this is terrible for live for me. Because normally what I'll end up doing is like muting the drums or muting the bass in the drums or that kind of stuff. And then I might do soloing parts temporarily. And then I like to cue the song structure live on top of that. And then I have some knobs to play with. So that's kind of how I deal with my live set. And the reason being is because most of my songs are very much in a song structure. And so I want to stick to that. And that's why I don't use kind of a live arrangement mode where I cue all the different parts in real time. Yeah, it's just very much like a typical radio song structure, most of my songs. I think that's an important point too. Your setup might differ depending on what kind of music you're making, essentially. Yeah, let's see. So I could go ahead and start the song. And then up here I have, on this track, reverb. And then a nice phasing band reject. I don't know if you could hear my audio okay. Hopefully you can. Yeah, hopefully you could hear my audio okay. We didn't really have that much time for setup today. So yeah, that's basically the, I'll navigate through the song. All my choruses are generally outlined, so I know where they're at. And how I do song transitions, this is super nerdy and complicated, but a long time ago, I had a gig where they said, well, we could only have you play, all the artists have to have DJ sets. So the songs need to like seamlessly blend from one song to another. And my songs are never like that. So what I did was I looked at all the songs I wanted to play and wrote down their key signatures, and then arranged them in the circle of fifths. And then, because if you have your songs in the circle of fifths, if two songs are right next to each other in the circle of fifths, a lot of their elements will be in the same key. So you could take like little bits of one song and mix it with another one. I don't know if that makes too much sense, but y'all can kind of figure that out. And then anywhere where there was gaps, I would transpose the song slightly. So since that point forward, my live sets have always kind of been blended from song to song, just because it's kind of neat to be able to do that anyway. So at the end of this song, this is the outro line, and you'll hear it just kind of looping here. And by the way, a lot of the songs that I have they predate M8, so a lot of the times they're stems, and then sometimes they're real-time synthesis if I had time to redo the song or parts of the song in the M8. I think on this song it's all stems. Yeah, you could see just because they're all playing C4 as their note. So let me just show you this. I'm gonna queue up the next song by pressing the project button, which instantly loads the project screen where I could select the next song. That's something else I forgot to mention. I'll normally figure out what songs I want to play, have an order set up for them, because normally in our gigs they're like, you have 45 minutes to play, or you have 30 minutes to play, or if you're playing in Japan, it's like you have to play exactly for 25 minutes, no more than that. A lot of shows over there are very strict, which is totally cool. But me knowing what songs I'm going to play and the rough order I have for them, I kind of get the idea of what songs. So I ordered them, like numbered them, and then sorted the directory so that way I know it's quick for me to jump from song to song. So you'll watch me when I play this, I'll hit the projects button, load the next song, and do the transition. Well, that didn't work at all. Hold on a second. I must have messed something up. Also, I like to note that my live sets, I like to have the ability to mess up because I think that I don't know. It reminds me of like playing a real instrument. Like when I used to play piano and stuff like that, I would practice and practice and practice so that way I wouldn't mess up on stage. But I think that those mess ups enable some humor in the show, allow you to talk to the audience, allow you to recover nicely, gives the audience more of a unique experience. And for me, I like to just have that kind of built into the set. So that was I must have not hit edit to load the song. But you heard how that transition was basically smooth. I'll probably just skip to the end here on this song. I didn't want to do a whole set. So you get the idea. I just bring in elements from the next song into the current song, and if I have to do a tempo change, I'll do it in the previous song. On that last example, I slowed down the tempo right before that switch. I load that back up. I think somewhere in here is a... Yeah, you can see the tempo right there shifting down. So yeah, that's pretty much how my set works currently. And hopefully I'll evolve it over time and add actually some more M8 songs in there and not just stems. I've been quite busy to work on music lately. I don't know why. But yeah. That concludes my presentation, Mikey.
Thank you. A chat member asks, why all the chain islands in your live set?
That forces me to move the song forward. So if I don't, punch in the next part, it'll just keep looping. Because I want to control the song structure live to some degree. I want to be able to have that thing where I need to practice, and if I might make a mistake, and then everybody can laugh at me, and it'll be fun for everybody.
You want to have
I
something
love
to
laughing
do
at you.
and not just hit play like I do.
I mean, everybody has a different style of live performance. Mine is like, I like to be able to mess up. I like to have that ability to also extend or change up how things are presented. And that's just how I do it with this current iteration of music. No shade for anybody who presses play.
I press play. No, there's a little bit more to it, but I'll be able to go over that shortly.
All right. So you should we do the awkward switch out?
Yeah, we're gonna do a little switch out, so give us just a moment. Discord is silly in the way it does stage screen sharing, so give us just a second to change over.
To unmute. Hello, everybody. I am unmuted.
Hello, unmuted.
Hello, everybody.
Let me
I
switch
should
out
be muted.
the
But you should
stream.
be able to hear me.
We can hear you.
We could hear you.
Excellent. There we go. So everything worked out okay. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you see my screen okay. So yeah, here is my setup. As you can see, it's quite a bit different from Trash 80s. Although I think at some point I would love to do just a single M8 setup. But in the meantime, here's what I have for you guys. So just for a little as a little primer. So I used to perform with Game Boys for a very, very long time, and the way that I would do it was I would use two of them actually in a DJ mixer, and I would kind of work them very similar to doing DJ tracks, going back and forth and crossfading between them, and I did it for well over a decade, and it was something I just never is like a habit I couldn't get out of, and no matter what kind of live setup I did, it just never felt right. So when the M8 came out, I had decided to use two of them in the same exact fashion. So we have this setup here. So I have my two M8s. I have the Pioneer. I believe it's the DJ 450, which is literally half of the DJM 900, which is sort of I guess you could call it like a club standard. A lot of DJs use it for a multitude of reasons. One, I love the performance aspect of a DJ mixer. A lot of people think you have to be a DJ to use a DJ mixer, but in a live hardware setup, it is fantastic. The effects are super fun. They're super flexible. They're really easy to access. The cue functionality is great. And because it is a bit of a standard in a lot of live venues and clubs, if you get familiar with the DJ 450 or the 900, you could potentially play at events and not bring your mixer. Or if they already have it available, that's one less thing you have to bring. Or, for example, when I flew to Japan to play the M8 festival a couple years ago, or was it last year? It feels like forever ago. We played, and it would have been just a huge hassle to bring this mixer. So I asked them. I said, "Hey, do you guys have a Pioneer at the venue?" And they did. So that was one thing I just didn't have to bring. So very convenient if you're doing any sort of traveling. You can just bring your smaller gear. So I have my two M8s here, and I also have a monosynth. In this case, I have a TB303. Because most of my songs, if you can see the giant wall of numbers here, it sort of plays on kind of on rails, and then I have a live synthesizer to manipulate, to give it a little bit more looseness and have something to interact with along with the effects here. And I could use two, but the way I have it set up is to kind of maximize or minimize, I guess, the amount of stuff I have to bring whenever I go touring or traveling or anything. So instead of having, you know, two 303s or two different synths, I can just bring the one. And the way I have it set up is if I move these guys, there's a rat's nest down here, but right here I have a RetroKits RK006 working as a MIDI merge. So I have both my M8s running into the RK006, and that routes into the M8. So one thing I have to be careful about when I play sets is to make sure that both M8s aren't trying to send MIDI, because I don't send clock anything. I just do MIDI stuff, MIDI notes, pitch data. I just make sure that they're both not trying to send MIDI to the 303 at the same time. So as long as I kind of alternate between the two M8s, it always sounds correct. And then I have the audio going into a little splitter, and it goes back into both M8s. So I'm able to kind of bounce back and forth with only one 303. I also over prepare. So underneath my DJ mixer, I can't move it today without making a lot of noise and chaos. But I have a ton of like extra spare cables and adapters and all sorts of stuff, because when I was doing Game Boy sets for a long time, I feel like most people who used LSDJ or Game Boy sets can probably understand having the battery anxiety of the AA's just dying during the middle of your set. So always having spare AA's was crucial. And because of that paranoia, I have spare everything, every extra MIDI cables, extra audio cables, everything tucked away in this DJ flight case. So yeah, that's more or less the setup on the hardware side. So again, my setup that I have here is kind of based on the two Game Boy setup that I used for a very, very long time. So generally I have full song arrangements here with various islands. And the way I like to use it is very similar to a DJ, where I have cue sections, where I have a section of the song that's constantly looping that I'm able to kind of transition between the two. So I'll just play a little bit of this song here just so you get an idea. So let's turn the audio up. I'm just in the middle of a track here. We have the song playing. And down here, if I highlight this row, I have it set to a song hop, which is going to push it down 2 rows. And so I have this little island that should just loop over and over again. I'll go ahead and just skip to it. So I'm just going to push, and maybe skip a row. So now I have this cue section here, and it gives me all the time I need to transition to the song. And I don't do any syncing between the two notes, all just in my ears. Sometimes it takes a little, couple tries. There we go. It's almost, I guess it's really similar to DJing. And then I can switch over to the other song, reset this M8, stop it, and get this one going. And then again, of course, if I skip ahead, I have my 303 playing, but for this demonstration, you don't really need to hear it. So yeah, as you can see, after the once I get to that cue section on the first song, I'm able to just start queuing up the next one. I always do it by ear. Um, it's just the way I've been doing it for like over a decade. So it's just force of habit. I'm sure I could set some sort of configuration to have them all both perfectly synced all the time, but having that looseness kind of again makes it feel natural. You know, while I have things on kind of on rails, I kind of enjoy having a bit of the messiness aspect of performing because it makes it feel live. You know, if I wanted to have perfect studio sounding tracks and stuff playing, I would just actually use DJ controllers. So yeah, there's not much more to it beyond that. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration for trying out stuff, especially if you have two mates, maybe you have a Model 1 and Model 2. This may be a configuration you can try out and see how it works for you.
Sounds complicated.
It is a little complicated. It's not that complicated, but you could use any kind of DJ mixer, or not a DJ mixer at all. You could use a little tiny little bestie stereo mixer. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna jump off. Thank you so much, everyone.
Awkward silence.
Crickets.
Let's see. Need to set up everything back up.
You forgot to say that Squibby's joining us for the stream too, although she has nothing to say.
Not that window. Yeah, that window.
Anyone else have a cat joining them for the meetup? Or dog? Or as we say, loud cats.
Mikey, are you there?
I am here.
All right. Cool. I can't hear the sound of my own voice right now, and it's bothering me. Testing 1, 2. There we go. All right. Sorry about the double audio, everyone, if that was an issue. I saw some chat about it, but I couldn't actually participate in the chat during that portion because our Discord setup is complicated. So, Mikey, do you bring your mixer when you do your sets?
Depends if I'm traveling internationally. Internationally, usually not. I'll take if if a lot of venues have Pioneer mixers, and if they do, then I just have to bring my M8s, a MIDI merge, and a monosynth. But if they don't, then maybe I'll bring like a bestie and a KP3, and that sort of works as a substitute.
Right on.
It's like, yeah, it's a little rough, but you make do with what you got.
All right, I guess it's bundles time. Hopefully, let's see. Hopefully the audio works okay. I'm going to do a microphone check real quick. Mikey, I'm going to need your help when you're ready. Let me know if you could hear me right
now. I can't hear you right now.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So let's get going on bundles. Let's have Tim mispronounce everyone's artist names. Should turn it into a drinking game or something if you're into that sort of thing. Up first, we have Panelak with Lebifuab. Also, Mikey, feel free to correct me on these. What's up with these characters? How's that even possible?
There were a couple users that had some unique characters.
Like they were probably renamed on the desktop.
Yeah, like there's like one that's like has the little accent mark over the A, for example.
Well, hopefully they load fine. Guess we'll find out. Lebifuab. Tell me how to pronounce that.
I really don't know. Sorry.
Hopefully, well, maybe I should start with E0 and turn it up from there. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. That again was a track by Panelak. Panelak, however we pronounce it. Next up, we got Cortex, I think, with something I'm not going to even try. It's great. Love the textures on that. Again, was cortx with something. Next up, we got brickshell with bus 3 v2. It's a great little track. There was a note with this one that this is their third M8 headless song made on the bus. Thank you for the sample resources and guidance. All right, next up we got Perlin Boy with SolarZombie. There we go. was awesome. Thank you again for sharing. That again was Perlin Boy with SolarZombie. Next up, we got albokemy.
Albokemy?
Albokemy? Okay. The Today. Thanks, Sky, for helping.
I try.
I'm not alone anymore.
Aw.
You are about to witness the very exciting story of a city and its people. It will be an adventure that will open new sights in familiar surroundings. It is a story of a city seeking new horizons in a resolute contest with great challenges. That city is Detroit, home of nearly 2 million people. Back in 1701, long before this land became a nation, Panelak planted the colors of France on Detroit's shore. And thus began a rich and inspiring history which has brought Detroit to its finest hour. The today of which we are a part. Yes, Detroit is enjoying its finest hour. There is a renaissance, a rebirth in the city. There's a newness in Detroit. I am honored to be serving as mayor at this most eventful and productive period in Detroit's history. And I'm honored to be a participant in the Detroit story.
That was lovely.
So, this song came with a note that said, "This is a mood piece built around archival audio of Detroit's bid for the 1968 Olympics. I am not from Detroit. This is a first step in a project I'm thinking about that addresses American politics in a tangential way." And the full song title is "The Today of Which We Are a Part."
Awesome. And that artist name was albokemy.
Albokemy? Something? Sorry.
Sorry. Next up, we got Among Trees with Drunk Skunkz. That was awesome.
Full song name is The Intense Delirium of Drunk Skunkz! !
Song again was by Among Trees. Next up, we got Gem with Elixir.
Coffee is the elixir of life. I don't know how you can have too much coffee. Too much coffee. Absolutely not. Too much coffee. Too much coffee. Too much coffee. Too much coffee. Kitty, what do you think about too much coffee? Too much coffee, too much coffee.
Coffee, too much coffee, too much coffee, coffee.
Elixir of life.
Too much coffee, too much coffee.
I don't know how you can have
too much coffee, too much coffee, coffee. Too much coffee, too much coffee, coffee.
Elixir of life.
Too much coffee, too much coffee.
I don't know how you can have
too much coffee, too much coffee.
Coffee, coffee, sweet, sweet elixir. Every morning, can't wait to meet her. Drink her down, black or brown, makes the brain go whoop and the bum go poop. Coffee, coffee, sweet, sweet elixir. Every morning, can't wait to meet her. Just like kitty and boxes, there's never enough. Never enough. A little elixir. Whoop.
Too much coffee.
Poop.
Too much coffee. Coffee. Coffee.
elixir of life.
Elixir.
I don't know how you can have
Too much coffee.
A little elixir makes the brain go whoop and the bum go poop.
Too much coffee.
Poop, 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 poop.
too much coffee, too much coffee, too much coffee.
Elixir makes the brain go whoop, 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 poop.
Too much coffee.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
I don't know how you can have
Too much coffee. Too much coffee.
too much coffee, too much coffee, too much coffee. Too much coffee. Absolutely not.
Can you say the full thing? It's okay.
No, because I don't know who you'd play it back to.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
That came with a song note that says, "This is my first song ever, created for the Community Jam number 33. Theme was Too Much Coffee, and challenge was Mouth Sounds. I created all of the samples except for the drum samples."
That's awesome. That again was Gem with Elixir. I like the cat purring. Next up, we got S.D.S with B-bar loop. 8-bar loop? There we go. Where am I going? I do not have the bundle. Rip. Why? Where is it at? We'll come back to it. We'll investigate this. Mikey's on it. Next up, we got iamjackg with Bit Shock. Nicely done. That sounded great. That again was iamjackg. Sorry if that's not how it's pronounced, with BitShock. Next up, we got Rolkinn with Hedges. Awesome. Sorry, I cut that short a little bit. That again was Rolkinn with Hedges. Love the plucked stuff. Next up, we got Maya James. No. Help me out, Sky.
My Jamás, is it French?
Maybe.
Eclipsi Bomba?
Thank you. Awesome.
That song came with a note that says, work in progress of an album I'm making using the M8 with a Spanish guitar, N64 samples, and some drum hits and loops. Singing and mastering will occur later using Reaper.
It's great. That again was Mia Jams with Eclipsi Bomba. Yeah, we should probably make a note about like special characters and pronunciation on the submissions, like add it to the submission thing. All right, next up we got Ocean Camp with Checkmate. Wow. Thanks so much for submitting your song. That again was Ocean Camp with Checkmate. Next up we got June Engine with Agora Road. Awesome.
That song came with a note that said, updated version of a bundle that I submitted for the last meetup that didn't get played. I'm sorry. It must have gotten lost in all the chaos.
Well, at least it got played now.
Yeah.
That again was June Engine with Agora Road. I'm going to switch out the SD card to see if we get the S.D.S song working.
Thanks for the comment praise, Rum Raisin.
Hey, we got it. This song is, again, S.D.S with 8-bar loop. Oops. Oh, God. This is great. That again was S.D.S with 8-bar loop. And that concludes the first time submissions, song submissions. Let's see what we got for returning. All right, first up we got atalhlla,
Atalhlla?
atalhlla
Question mark?
with Botanica. Thank you, Sky.
Yeah.
That was super great.
Song came with a note. First of all, it's their artist name is pronounced atalhlla, and the song note says, "No special instructions. Made this for Community Jam 23, Botanica, and decided to try making it in the vein of that trendy genre by the same name. Lots of samples, many pads and effects finagled out of various synths, including GarageBand because I've never grabbed any of those pad and effect sample libraries from anywhere, alongside a bit of string stuff from MuseScore and plinking on a kalimba, a ukulele, and a 12-string, and some outdoor stuff. The flute, however, is all macro synth."
It's great. Thanks again for submitting your song. Next up, we got Wes Jensen with Hopeful Ant. Well, that was crazy. That again was Wes Jensen with Hopeful Ant. Thank you.
Came with a note that said, shifting grooves with 3-piece guitar. Avril Cadabra's Robo Leader shredding.
Awesome. Thanks again for submitting the song. Next up, we got Drifrs with March Forward. Crazy.
Song notes say some M8 rhythm.
That again was Drifrs with March Forward. Next up is Rum Raisin with Sync on Luma. Awesome. Thanks again for submitting your song. That again was Rum Raisin with Sync on Luma. Next up, we got Little Losses with Flora. Was great. I love the bass on that programming. It sounded fantastic. All right, that was Little Losses with Flora. Next up, we got LudOverdrive with Ionic Shock. Sorry about that. Epic. Thank you so much for submitting that song. That again was LudOverdrive with Ionic Shock. Next up, wait, why, Mikey? You're on this list, but you're last? Really? How did you do that?
Magic.
I thought these were in kind of random order by me copying over the files.
I rigged it.
I don't know how. Next
Just
up,
like with your randomizer.
Oh, right. Next up, we got Ineffable Twaddle with I See Now. Awesome.
This song came with a note.
Okay.
My late musician father and I debated on and off for decades about whether sampling can be legitimately considered making your own music. During the week 52 of Weekly Beats 2024, I finally settled the issue by going full avalanche mode and heavily chopping stems from 2 of his old tracks, I See and Now, and mashing them into a completely different song, genre, and performance, including vocals. He loved it. All bass, guitar, and vocal samples were originally recorded by my dad in the mid-90s and recovered by me as FX-less stems in the late 2000s from old VS 880 backup CDs. The drums are chopped from 4 free sound samples, Creative Commons 0. Everything else is onboard M8 synths.
Thank you for reading that. And thank you, Ineffable Twaddle. That again was I See You Now by Ineffable Twaddle. Next up, we got Glooms with Crystalline Giant.
Crystalline Giant.
Awesome. Thanks again for submitting your song. That again was Glooms with Crystalline Giant. Last 2 tracks. Next up, we got Bytes with Machine Experiment. Awesome. Thank you so much for submitting your song.
We got a song note. It says this is from the Polybius EP. Gentlebytes.bandcamp.com. Album Polybius.
Polybius?
Polybius, like Mobius?
Polybius. Blah, blah, blah. Up next, we got an unknown artist with an unknown song name. Just kidding, Mikey. Mikey 303 with Learn to Swim. Was great.
Song notes. Featuring Hoshimiya Toto, originally for a remix contest, but only the vocal sample remains from the source material. Additional instruments, Roland TB303 and Roland PMA5.
Cool beans, Mikey. Cool beans. That's it. That's the rest of the bundles. I want to thank... What were you going to say?
We did it.
We did it. I want to thank Mikey303 and Sky for joining me. Without you, I would have audibly typoed all over the place. So I appreciate you.
Happy to help.
Yeah, whatever.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We will have another meetup here in the coming weeks with some exciting news and announcements and special things to come. Also, reminder, we'll be in Berlin in May for a super booth. So if anybody is going to come out, come say hi, hang out at the booth. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thank you again for submitting the bundles, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Later.
Bye.
Bye.